Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Monday, May 4th, 2020. We are in the first day of the trading week and the last hour of the trading day. I mention this each day, but in my opinion, the most valid time to make your buying and selling decisions is at the end of the day, in the last hour, and particularly in the last few minutes. During the day, you have the algorithms, you have the day traders. They are the ones that are in control of the prices. They are moving the prices around. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions coming in. They deal with the most money. They have extremely smart people, best technology, best information. And in that last hour, they gradually take the price control away from the day traders and the algorithms, and they move it to what they feel like is the most valid price. And so I like to piggyback on their decisions, again, because they're dealing with the most money, very smart people, so forth and so on. So that is why I like to make my buying and selling decisions at the end of the day. Primarily, sometimes I have some day trades, as I did last week, didn't have any today. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. It's always nice to see you here. I always look forward to it. I'm just very grateful that we have such a great group with great insights and comments and poems and all sorts of stuff. So thank you so much for coming. Really nice to see everyone. Well, interesting day today. The Dow is currently down 88 points, down 0.37, although we were down much further earlier on. We've had a nice comeback. NASDAQ is green today, up 55 points, up 0.64%, and the S&P is down 1 point, down 0.04, so pretty much flat. All right, let's take a look, see who's here. Hey, Marcella is here. Good afternoon from Buenos Aires. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming, Marcella. I've been to Buenos Aires before. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nice to have you here. Mohammed is here. Hi, Mohammed. Good to see you, sir. Mohammed says, hi, Greg and fellow traders. Bob is here. Hello, everyone. Hey, Bob. Dan, hope everyone's doing well. Peace sign right back to you, Dan. Thanks for coming. William Green. Hi, William. Good to see you, my friend. Good day, all. Quad Racer. Hey, what's going on, Quad Racer? Good afternoon, everyone, and looking forward to our lesson on Wednesday evening, Quad Racer. Gert. Hi, all. Good evening from Belgium. Good evening to you. Thank you for coming, Gert, excuse me. Appreciate that. Hi, Greg. Had a very interesting weekend watching your videos. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I hope they were helpful. Miko25, hey, what's going on? Appreciate you being here, my friend. Thanks for coming. David is here. Hi, David. Good to see you. Hi, Kamal. Good to see you as well. Gert says, at the end of the day, they do that. The institutions. Yes, they're the ones that come in and take control of the pricing away from the day traders. So that's why I like to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions right there at the end of the day and following what the large institutions are doing, not during the day. Not as much. I mean, you can clearly see it in the volume at the end of the day. The algorithms and the day traders are the ones during the day that control most of the pricing. Hello, Zach. Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. And our other Zach 1662. Hello, Greg and friends. Hey, Zach. Good to see you. Frank. Hello from America, Greg and friends. Hey, Frank. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Always nice to have you here. All right. Well, listen, here's the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back. We're going to take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. After that, a few of you have been kind enough to share some of your trades with me. We're going to be going over those and see how those are doing. After that, we're going to spend a few minutes on trader psychology. Always an important part of the live stream for me. It's the most important skill you can learn, is getting a hold of your trading psychology, being able to follow your plan, understanding the pitfalls that you'll deal with mentally, the fear, the greed, the fear of missing out. It's extremely important. You know, you have to know how to trade. You have to be able to identify support and resistance levels and entries and exits and indicators. That is true. It's important. But you do that so that you can come up with a trading plan. And then after you come up with a trading plan, following it is a whole other hornet's nest. And so, if this is very simple. If you want to become a long-term profitable trader, you have to follow your rules. You cannot be impulsive. You cannot just hear something on the news and go, oh, that sounds good, I'm going to buy it. You really need to stick with your trading plan. And in my opinion, the best way to do that is to lower your position size to the point where you care enough, but you still care, but not enough to break your plan. I guess that's another way to say it. But following your plan is very important. You spend all this time and energy and research and education learning how to develop a plan, but then if you can't follow it, well, you know, that's a problem. So it's a skill, and there's a lot of influences out there to take you away from following your plan. But that's why I like to talk about trader psychology, good words of wisdom. So we're going to talk about that. Then after that, we are going to go down through my watch list. I have 3 requirements whenever I look to enter a stock. 1, I have to have a combination or a confluence of indicators lining up. I look at each indicator like MACD and RSI and ATR channels. I look at those as potential groups of buyers. And you'll put yourself in the best position, give yourself the best chance to have a profitable trade if you're in the company of as many other buyers as possible. And so if I look at one indicator as one group of buyers and I look at another indicator as another group of buyers, I want to see those indicators triggering the same time. That way, to me, I have 2 groups of buyers coming in. And again, if you're the only buyer and everyone else is a seller, it's not going up. So you want to be in the company with as many other buyers as possible. So that's requirement 1. Requirement number 2, you have to make sure that you have a good risk to reward ratio. 2 to 1 at least is what I like to see. More the better. But what I mean by that is that, you know, your stop loss or your support underneath you need to have at least 2 times the potential upside than the downside based upon what indicators are above you acting as resistance, like RSI or a major moving average or ATR channels. And then third, please make sure that you have a good diversified portfolio. You're not too heavy in any one sector. And on top of that, make sure, you know, take a look at your account heat. Account heat is, you know, what percentage of your capital you're actually putting at risk. 60% is the maximum for me, even if I have completely uncorrelated positions. And that has served me well over the years. So going to go down through the watch list, look for something that qualifies with all 3 of those. If at the end of the day I find one, I'll go ahead, place the trade at the end of the day. Then after that, when the market closes, if anybody has any questions, needs clarification on anything, would like me to take a look at any stock symbols, please let me know. I'm happy to do that. If there are any stock symbols that you think would be helpful for you or helpful for the group to get my opinion on, I'm happy to do that before the market closes. Just make sure you go ahead and you put a star by it or something, another emoji or something, so that I know it's time sensitive, and I'll do my very best to get to those before the market closes. All right, so that's the plan for today. If you could be so kind, hold on, I'm going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer and I will be back shortly. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, Steve Burns is here. Good to see you, Steve. Appreciate you being here as always. Always an honor, privilege to have you here. Be able to rub shoulders with you in the chat, man. It's pretty dang cool. So hope you're having a good day. Hope Holly's doing well. Hope the dogs are doing well. And thanks again for being here. Gert says, hi, Steve. Dirk says, hello, Greg and all. Hello, Dirk. Scatty, hey, good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Quad says, small loss on MTA. hit my stop loss this afternoon, so had to sell. Yep. Well, that is true when you have a loss. Let's see, you took this, it took this Friday, this V1. All right, so, well, we'll have to talk about it in the lesson because we're not 100% sure that's going to close below halfway of the washout bar, but you may have had a different approach, but we'll talk about in our next lesson quad. All right. Well, let's go through, take a look here. So I did buy the Russell 2000 IWM. I bought it Friday when we had the 1050 SMA crossover. This is a good back-tested approach, one of the best ones actually. And I do like that the crossover happened after the pullback near the value zone. I did buy it at 125.01. Currently, it's up slightly at 125.10. So earlier in the day, it wasn't looking so good, but this is why I wait till the end of the day. My trade plan on this is that if the price were to close below both the 10 and the 50, I would get out of half of my position. I would also get out of the second half of my position if the 10 actually closed under the 50, or my maximum stop loss got hit. So those are the three plans. To the upside, you can see I placed my profit targets. I placed my profit targets 0.45 entry from the previous day's close. And because I like to scale out as things go my way. When the market wants something for me at a profitable level, I'm happy to give it to them. Not the whole position, but just a portion of the position. So anyway, glad this moved back. You know, the key with these moving averages is, you know, simply they give you a structure to trade. If something goes into a big uptrend, well, you'll be in it if you're underneath. If the crossover is still in place. If it starts to go down, it gets you out quickly. If it goes up, you have the potential for a really big win and a really big trend. And that's the key to profitable trading, everyone, is small losses, break-even trades, small gains, and large gains. And the crossover gives you the potential to have a large gain. So anyway, glad this is currently up, and we'll just see how this goes. All right, SPY trade. In case we have some new viewers, want to go over this quickly, but I do buy the SPY ETF every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take that overnight risk, and then I sell it first thing the next morning. This is a back-tested study from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest on Twitter. In this back test, they tested two different approaches every day since 1993. First approach, buy SPY at the open, hold it through the day, sell it at the close. If you use this approach every day since 1993, you'd have returned a negative 13.9% return. However, if you did the opposite, which is what I do, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, take that overnight risk, sell first thing the next morning, it would have returned 634.2%. So big difference between the two different approaches. Past performance is no guarantee of future results, does not mean it's going to work in the future. But if I'm going to allocate money towards something, I want to allocate something that has a good track record. Blue line, buy in the afternoon, sell in the morning. Orange line, buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. You can see there's a clear difference in the equity curve. I've been using this since 2019. 2019 was fantastic results. This year, not so great, but doing better. Definitely doing better in the last month or so. But there are drawdowns using this approach. Nothing goes straight up. You can see over time, yes, it has gone up, but there are drawdowns like any other trading approach. And so it's important that you position size conservatively. I use a maximum 10% position size so that if I do go into a deep drawdown, it doesn't hurt that much. But I just consider this a continuous trade for as long as I'm trading. Just buy in the afternoon, hold it overnight, take that risk, sell the first thing the next morning. And really taking the overnight risk is over time why this has worked. So anyway, with that being said, I did buy the SPY Friday at 282.79, sold first thing this morning for a loss at 280.40. 246. So 2 big down days, actually 3. Well, this one wasn't too big. This was a little one, big one Thursday to Friday, and medium size today. But that's how it goes. You'll go on these tears either up or down. But like I showed you with the graphs over time, at least to date, it has worked out well. So I will be buying this again today. Let's see. Steve says, I'm in there with you on IWM. That's all I have today. Yep. Actually, what do we have? We have myself, we have Frank, and we have Steve in this trade. So far, so good, slightly positive. So we'll hang in there. That's about all I have as well, other than the SPY trade. Kamal says IWB has a return to value V1 on the daily. Almost, right? It did earlier because yes, Friday's close was 125.40. Right now it's 125.08. Yeah. Hey, listen, anytime you get a V1 or a V2, it's a good sign if you are long in the position. So again, I liked taking this trade here because it wasn't above the second ATR channel and I had bought it on a dip down instead of a big move up. I like to buy weakness more than strength, and it's down here in the value zone. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Gert says, do you put your stop loss in, Greg, or do you look at the end of the day and then decide to sell or not? Yeah, I don't usually put a hard stop in, Gert, because I'm watching the charts. And so I just have a mental stop. So at the end of the day, if it closes underneath what my end of day stop is, then I go ahead and just sell it. I don't put it in during the day, because if I put it in during the day, then it would not jive with my approach of selling at the end of the day. I'm not as concerned about what the intraday movement is, more concerned about what's happening at the close. Frank says, swing trading sounds so hip. A stock is a date, not a life mate. Trading is our lot, and we know when to buy or sell or not. Perhaps swing trading is meant for the few because we don't marry stocks or say I do. Let's try it again. Swing trading sounds so hip. A stock is a date, not a lifetime mate. Trading is our lot, and we know when to buy or sell or not. Perhaps swing trading is meant for the few because we don't marry stocks or say I do. That's right. We don't marry them. It's more of a speed dating situation, isn't it? Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that. Always wonderful to have your poems. They're so relevant, and just really, I feel very fortunate that Frank brings these poems to us each day. Thank you, Frank. Marco, hey everyone, good to see you, Marco. Hope you're having a good evening. Quad says, I probably should have not jumped the gun on that one regarding MTA. Well, we're going to go over that in a second. Dirk says, Greg, in Europe, we can't buy the SPY ETF. Is a micro future MES on the S&P an alternative? Well, I don't know. I don't think so, because futures trade over they trade 23 hours a day. I'd hate to steer you in the wrong direction on that, Dirk, but the key with buying at the close, selling at the open, is that you're taking that overnight risk. And being that futures trade all night long, I'm not sure. And I don't have any data or back test for that, so I don't want to steer you wrong. Steve says, well said, Frank. All right. Well, let's take a look over here. Bing He has been in this bond trade quite a long time here. He bought it back here on the 17th of April. He bought it at 168.80. Moved up nicely. It was up and then it was down and was back up. Now we are down again today. We are into the value zone. We are starting to move sideways. So I would be looking for some kind of V1, V2 entry at this point. We're above the 1 ATR channel, back in the value zone, stop going down for a couple days, holding that low. If I could get a V1 or a V2 here in the value zone, that is where I would buy this. Okay. I have, let's see, I have Dirk on this trade, but maybe this was quad. I mean, we were above the 1 ATR channel. We came into the value zone. We did have a nice V1 on Friday. If I was using this trade here, I would get out with a close under halfway of Friday's bar, which is the washout bar. You can see that's right where it is holding right now. This gapped up nicely, so it was up nicely for a bit, but it's reversed back. But if I had taken this trade, I would wait to see if today would close below halfway of the washout bar. The washout bar is Fridays, and that's right where it's holding. It's holding that 50% fib right there. Netflix, Bing He, nice trade. You know, it was above the 1 ATR channel, came into the value zone, triggered a V1 here, no sideways movement, but a triggered V1. He bought it on April 30th at 410.40. Right now it's at 426.55. So fantastic trade, Bing He. Proud of you. And then Amazon. All right. So GM, who was in the chat, she sold puts or bought puts on Amazon down to 1900 expiring June. So by June 18th, if it's down below 1900, she will be in the money intrinsically on the trade. Right now, not sure. I think she sold it back here. So she may be slightly in the money on this, not sure. So we don't have a lot of positions here. IWM, again, doing pretty well. Positive now, which is great. And then had the loss on the overnight SPY trade. So I will be buying that again today. Gert says OILK. Says bullish divergence maybe dip buy. Well, honestly, yeah, there is a divergence. Here's the previous low. We rallied green. Now we've come lower. There's less red here. So this is a bullish divergence. Yes, you are correct. The trigger, though, just because you have a bullish divergence doesn't really mean anything unless you get a signal to get in and confirm that divergence. Right now, it's at a 28.43. It's down 4%. I like that it's down here at the third ATR channel, the negative third ATR channel. That is a good sign. But currently we're at a 28.43, so we are under the 30 RSI. I mean, I do like big picture. I do like the bullish divergence that's going on here. I really do. This is the kind of trade Dr. Elder would be looking for. But you need a trigger. The trigger might be a V1 or a V2. But for me right now, looking at it, it would be a close over the 30 RSI. That 30 RSI is acting as resistance right now above. If it could close over, it would give a good risk reward ratio, especially in the context of this double bottom with the bullish divergence and at the negative third ATR channel. Quad says, thoughts on Intel? All right, so we were above the 1 ATR channel. When we're above at the 1 ATR channel, I'm looking for a dip buy in the value zone. We did come in. We went down. We went down on Friday again. Here is a V1. This is a V1, no doubt about it, or getting very close to. And it did reject the negative third ATR channel, which I like a lot. But what I don't see is I don't see sideways movement. I see the price moving up, sell off, sell off. I like to see it come into the value zone, quad, and settle down for a couple days to show that there are no more sellers, that it's run out of sellers. And so this situation right here reminds me more of something that if it triggers the V1 today, yeah, it's good that it has a V1, but no sideways motion. And usually this might go up for a day or two before coming back down. That's my experience. But I do like this rejection of the -1 ATR channel, but I personally wouldn't take this trade because no sideways motion. It was Dirk for MTA, correct. Oh, there was two then, Dirk? So Quad and Dirk have it. Dirk, do you still have the position? Look at that. It's holding right there at the halfway of that washout bar. RSI is low. Yes, RSI was low on OILK. Too low. That's the problem for me right now. It's just too low. All right, let's take a quick look. Okay, listen, before we go to the watch list, before I go down and look for my potential end of day trade today, I do like to spend a few minutes on trader psychology. It's very important. To me, it's the most important skill in trading, and there's some really good Facebook and Twitter channels out there that every day put out good information, nice tweets, good posts that really are helpful, and there's a lot of wisdom in what they say. This is from Sleek Options, at Sleek Options on Twitter. Really like this channel. But when I read this, I remember I replied to it because I really liked it so much. But it is easy to be disciplined when you have trading partners where each member of the group plays a specific role. Listen, this is a very short sentence, but it is filled with wisdom. It is easy to be disciplined when you have trading partners where each member of the group plays a specific role. Now, listen, I understand most people do not have trading partners. I have had trading partners in the past for this exact reason. There are traders that work for hedge funds, that work for prop trading firms, on Wall Street, and these people trade for 10, 15, 20 years, and they're successful at it. But then a lot of times they'll go off on their own, and all of a sudden they can't make money. They can't make money anymore. And the reason why is when you work at a hedge fund or you work at a prop trading firm, you have someone always above you looking over your trades. And being your risk manager. Then when people go off on their own, they don't have a risk manager. So, I actually hired someone, a friend of mine, taught him how to trade. And I said, look, I know how to trade. I've had good results, but the chink in my armor is going to be me. If I do something dumb, if I do something I'm not supposed to do. So I hired him for the very reason of just making sure I followed my plan. And it worked out really, really well. And I understand, you probably can't go off and hire a bunch of trading partners where one person does the analysis, the other person does the risk management and the stop losses, but it would be good. It would be good. So, maybe involve your friend or your wife or your husband or your whatever. And if you're having problems following your rules, position sizing or getting out, so forth and so on, try to get somebody else involved and break up the duties. You do the analysis, they do the exit, something like this. But there's a lot of wisdom. It is easy to be disciplined when you have trading partners where each member of the group plays a specific role. So maybe you're talking to your husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or mom or dad, and I know it will help. And now, in addition to that, this is funny. This is from Kashul Korea at KKQuant on Twitter. The best systematic trading system consists of a computer, a man, and a dog, right? Here's your trading partners: a computer, a man, and a dog. The computer runs the system, the man feeds the dog, and the dog bites the man if he touches the computer. See how that works, right? You have trading partners. Everybody has their own role to play. The man does the computer system, and then the computer runs the system. The man feeds the dog because the dog needs to be fed, and then the dog bites the man if he touches the computer. So anyway, this is kind of funny, but it is kind of true. But please, please subscribe to Kashul Korea. He has great posts on there. And then also please subscribe over at Sleek Options. I really like that channel. It's easy to be disciplined when you have a trading partner where each member of the group plays a specific role. It's not so easy. It's not so easy to be disciplined when you're doing everything. So anyway, hope that helped. And then before we get down to going through my watch list, Steve Burns posted this on his website over at newtraderu.com. And I really suggest that you go to his website. Steve from the chat, great author, trader, educator, just all around really, really good and smart guy. And his website is newtraderu.com. Great articles on there that you can read. He has his 3 times a week video newsletter, which I subscribe to myself personally. I always watch it. By the way, Steve, really great video newsletter last night. I watched last night's and man, this is really, really good. His analysis of take on the market. But he posted this about wolf waves. And when I saw this, boy, did it bring back memories, because when I first started trading, one of the first trading books I read, I think High Probability Trading Strategies by Linda Raschke and Larry Connors, they have a section in there about wolf waves. And a wolf wave is as such. You have 5 points to a wolf wave. You have a low, then you have a rally, then you have a lower low, which is your 0.3, and then you have another rally, which is lower than 0.2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th point, which is basically a symmetrical 3 dips. Here's dip 1, dip 2, dip 3. That is the buy area. Then you take the trend line of the 0.1 and the 0.4, and that is where, on this particular approach, this getting up against this trend line is your target price. And they do work. I'm telling you, here's the difference. This is a bearish wave. So here you have lower lows, 1, 2, 3 lower lows. That's bullish. 1, 2, 3 higher highs is bearish. So here's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 has to be higher than 0.1, 0.4 has to be higher than 0.2, 0.5, that is your sell signal area. And then you take the trend line of 1 to 4, and that is your expected move down. So, like with any other signal, you can look and go, I think it's a wolf wave. But in my experience, looking and waiting for a very clean, just super clean wolf wave that just jumps right out at you. But anyway, thanks for posting that, Steve. That brought back some memories. And if I see some in the future here, I will definitely point them out. Glenn says, Intel has bounced between 56 and 62. Yeah, it's range bound. It's definitely range bound. Doesn't mean it can't go right up here to 62, right? But again, for me, I have to wait. Get that signal. It is a V1, could be, could go up from here, but I have to follow my rules, because if I don't have my rules, what else do I have? You know what I mean? Dirk says, I still have the position. I'll see it. Let's see at a minute for the close. Yep. Yeah, currently it's under. Gert says, ASR has a V2, I think, in the value zone. Yes, it does. It does. But I always feel like I'm a killjoy with everyone. Yes, it did come into the value zone. It did wash out day one. Day three closes above day one's close. This is technically a value. This technically is a V2, but it's not a valid setup. For a valid setup, above the 1 ATR channel, come into the value zone, has to move sideways for a couple days, and then have the V1, V2. And then when the V1, V2 triggers, it can't be above the 1 ATR channel. So this one came into the value zone, yes, no sideways movement, nice washout, but now it's triggering up here. 92% of prices fail at the third ATR channel. So, you know, this doesn't give me a good risk reward based. I mean, my stop would be all the way down here, close under the washout bar, and, you know, not for sure, but statistically speaking, it's going to find some issues up here. Interesting that it's up so big today and not a lot of volume. I don't see the volume here compared to, you know, over here. Frank says, I have the toughest coach on earth. I have to answer to my wife. Good. That's your trading partner. Gert says, I have a different chart. Difference in ATR settings? Could be. Definitely could be. Chart settings on my ATR are 20 SMAs. You probably have EMAs, which is fine. Most charts have EMAs, but mine I use an SMA. If you want to send me a chart, Gert, you can send it to me at Twitter and we can take a look. All right, so IWM is positive, fantastic. TLT not doing much, but this is a good example of kind of coming back down into the value zone and now some sideways movement. All the sideways movement does is show you that it's starting to settle down. It's starting to find some buyers. It has stopped going down. I like to buy in the value zone and sell up here, but again, I need the setup of sideways motion and then a V1 or a V2, so it's or crossover as well, but I don't see that here. So Dirk and quad, so it's right now it's currently below the halfway of this washout bar, meaning the 50% fib is not holding. Netflix for being he doing really, really well. And Amazon for GM, she's got the puts. All right. Hey, Bing He, good to see you. Good to see you. I just talked about your trades. We were just talking about Netflix doing really well today, and the bonds being down a little bit. Bing He says, I couldn't get into VRTX on market open, missed the boat. Darn. Well, listen, here is an example. This is perfect, actually. Above the 1 ATR channel, we came back down into the value zone. We started to go sideways, then had the V2. See, that's what I'm talking about. Above the 1 ATR channel, into the value zone, stopped going down, triggered the V2 here. I kind of remember this, dang, and now it's rallied nicely. Shucks. Darn it, but that is a beautiful picture. As a matter of fact, that's so good. I want to put that in some of my training material there. It's perfect. It's perfect. Really, really is perfect. Dang, Bing He, sorry you missed that, bud. Okay. Well, let's head down through the list, see what's going on. Apple is up today, up $3.64. Pretty good. Zach, if you're out there, one thing that concerns me is we had the big down bar on Friday. You know, from a Fibonacci standpoint, that if it rallies back into halfway of that bar, it probably will fail. Most of the day, it's been hanging out here right at that 50%. Now it's above, which is good. But nothing on Apple today. I'd like to see a pullback into the value zone. Look for that sideways movement, V1, V2, or have the 5 cross under the 20 back over, or a bounce off the 200, or a deep dip buy to the 30 RSI. You know, 30 RSI and the 200 seems a long ways away here, but doesn't mean that it can't go down here. But first of all, of course, I like Apple. Return to value zone, sideways movement, V1, V2, or the 5 crossing under the 20 back over, or bounce off the 200, or a rejection of the 30 RSI. Adobe, this has really just been range bound here. We're up, we're down, we're up, we're down, we're up, we're down. Up today a little bit, but I don't see anything here. Again, pull back into the value, sideways motion. Amazon, well, look, you know, this is an example. I don't like to buy up here. Sometimes they'll go higher on a long trend, but, you know, from a mean reversion standpoint, we're above the 1 ATR channel. Now we've pulled back into the value zone. I like this, right? We went down Friday. We stopped going down today. If I could get another sideways motion, at least minimum, I'd like to have 5 or 6 days and then have the trigger. But if I could get one more sideways motion in the V1, V2 trigger, then I would buy Amazon in the value zone. I mean, we're definitely in an uptrend. This is a normal pullback, but still need the signal. Boeing. Well, Boeing has not been a lot of fun. Rejected the -1 ATR channel back in, but I don't see anything on Boeing yet. Berkshire Hathaway, man. Berkshire Hathaway's been beat up pretty good here. This is a pretty dang good stock. But you know, we were above the 1 ATR channel, came into the value zone. Now we're underneath the -1 ATR channel. So I would be looking, my first thought here would be for a deep dip buy on Berkshire. Under 30, over 30 would be interesting. Or if we could hang out down here at the 3rd ATR channel and go sideways for a while, then get a V1, V2, I would also look at that. MACD cross under today, showing that it's losing momentum. Beyond Meat up nicely today. V1, but I don't think it's a valid V1. I'm not sure if we washed out. Yeah, maybe we did. But I'm not going to take the entry when it's above the 1 ATR channel or the green line. We have earnings coming up as well. Caterpillar, lost the 1 ATR channel. So the selling has been strong enough to drive us below the -1 ATR channel. I would like to see this rally back up into the value zone, then come off a little bit, and then get a higher low V1, V2 in the value zone. Carnival, look at this big reversal, everybody. Well, there's a V1, right? But again, it's above the 1 ATR channel. Day 1, day 2 washes out day 1, closes above. So nothing there. Dow back in the value zone. It's a V1, but against downward motion. I want to see it go sideways, but at least we're back in the value zone. Better than buying up here. Walt Disney down today in the value zone, which is good. That gets my attention, but I still need to see the sideways motion. Earnings coming up. Etsy up nicely today. V2 to the upside, but too high. Facebook up nicely today. Boy, Facebook been kind of a wild one, just too high for me. Gold into the value zone. That gets me interested, but still no trigger. If we could get the 5 to cross under the 20 and back over, that would be my entry there. Google up slightly, holding above the 200-day, which is positive, but nothing. Goldman Sachs Again, look at rejected the third ATR channel, pull back into value, which is good, but I just need some sideways motion. Alternatively, if we get the 5 EMA to cross under the 20 and then back over, that's a good back test legitimate signal for Goldman Sachs. So nothing quite there yet. Home Depot up nicely today, right up against the third ATR channel. It just doesn't give me a good risk reward. IBB, nope. Intel, we talked about. IWM up today, so that's good on our crossover. Johnson & Johnson. So here's a great example, everybody, of being above the 1 ATR channel, coming into the value zone, sideways motion. This is exactly what I want to see. Now I want to see a V1 or a V2 trigger. That's what I'd be looking for. CarMax, not quite in the value zone. Coca-Cola has lost the negative 1 ATR channel, meaning I want to see it move up into the value zone, pull back, and then look for a higher low. This is a lower low now. I'd look for a higher low V1 or V2. Lockheed Martin lost the 200-day moving average. It's been testing that, but we are in the value zone. So if we could get a V1 or a V2 and then back above the 200, that would be good. MasterCard. We are getting close to a 1050 EMA crossover on MasterCard. That is a valid back-tested approach. Hasn't happened yet, but I will definitely be looking for that. Or if we can move sideways in the value zone, get a V1, V2, I'd also take that. McDonald's in the value zone, good, but no trigger. Merck, nothing there. Microsoft up nicely, but no signal. Netflix, Bing He, good job, bud. Nice going. Nike down in the value zone. Now that, if we could go sideways for a couple more days and get a V1, V2, that would be good. Philip Morris. Well, look, this is a V1. It's a washout of Friday's bar and a close above yesterday's close. But again, there's no sideways motion to speak of. There's only one day of it. I like that we tested this previous low, so we had a false breakout to the downside. See how we took out Friday's bar to the downside and reversed back up? Well, that's on a bar-to-bar situation, but you see how we went below this low, this range, and then closed above? So you have a V1 rejection of the previous day's low, and you have a rejection of this lower range of this range here. So that's good as well. But we went down, and we only have 1 day's of sideways motion. So I'm going to leave that one alone. PayPal, pull back into value. Q's, pull back into value is what I'm looking for. 1050 cross under. Silver, nothing there. Looking for a 520 cross back over. SPY, nicely positive today with the V1. But I will be buying this at the end of the day. Teladoc, back into the value zone, but no signal. TLT down today, but I'm watching this because we are in the value zone and moving sideways. So if we gap down tomorrow or went down tomorrow and then back up, that is where I would buy it. Tesla up 7% today after Elon Musk said the stock was too high. So that's always entertaining. Twitter back in the value zone, moving sideways. This is what I'm looking for. UAL down 4.5% today. Boy, this one just went up and right back down. UNG, strong, but no signal. UNH, flirting with the value zone. Look at oil today. Boy, one thing I noticed on USO here, you see how long it's been since we've been under the 5 EMA? Today, we are finally back over and MACD is going positive. So not enough for me to take the signal, but I did want to point out if you're under a moving average for a length of time and then you can finally close back over it, it may be signaling something has changed. And in addition of going under the 5 or being under the 5 EMA and possibly closing over it and having the MACD crossover, that's pretty good. VIX V1 to the downside. Today we went higher than Friday, and now we're closing lower. So that's a bit of a bearish sign on VIX, which is a bit of a bullish sign for the market. Verizon, nothing there. Walgreens, nothing there. Walmart, nothing there. Energy sector, we were up that third ATR channel, rejected. It came down. I was looking for it to pull back to the value zone, but it didn't get there. Financials down, but we are back in the value zone. So sideways motion is what I'm looking for. Real estate, working on a V1, but I wouldn't take this V1 against this steep downward motion. Utilities, nope. Healthcare, I'd like to buy healthcare if I could get a signal. We're safely back in the value zone. Better than buying up here, right? Safely back in the value zone. And Zoom, I don't see anything there. So me personally, I do not see anything today. I'm just going to keep with my IWM trade and of course, be buying the SPY at the close of the day. So glad to see this one in the money, especially after how bad it opened this morning. And shucks, man, sorry to see Bing He miss out on that IWM trade. That's a bummer. Or VRTX trade. Glenn says, we haven't had 3 down days in a row since February 27th. Wow. Glenn says, where are all the bears? Dan says, reading one of Steve's books, Moving Averages 101. It's a brilliant companion to this podcast. It also has practical 401 IRA strategies. Amazing. Seems like great traders love teaching. Thank y'all. I've read that book so many times, Dan, and that's the book that actually got me in contact with Steve. I love that book. Zach says, first trading book I ever read. Love it. Helped me so much when I started about 3 months ago. Oh, great. Gert says, how do you create your watch list, Greg? Do you first start with industry analysis or how do you filter? Gert, I like to just pick some of the leading stocks in a lot of different industries. Of course, you have the big monster stocks like Apple and Google and Goldman Sachs, but I liked it. I just have a cross section of the biggest companies in the biggest industries: auto, tech, healthcare, tobacco. Of course, I have all the indexes as well. But just the big, well-known companies that have a lot of liquidity, have a lot of following, and then I just try to have stocks in every industry. Dirk says, the book from Steve regarding risk management is also top. Yes, sir, it is. Dan, I plan on reading. No studying every book Steve Byrne writes. The same goes for Greg's videos. Oh, perfect. Thank you. And yes, read every Steve Burns book. Does anyone know if the book Trading in the Twilight Zone is still in print? I've never heard of that one. Greg, I kept MTA, stopped just below 50 EMA. Okay. Your stop is just below the 50. Okay. Well, that's good. At least we got a plan going, right? Plans do not have to be very complicated. They don't have to be advanced. They just have to be, where am I getting out? Where am I getting in? Where am I getting out if I'm wrong? Where am I getting out if I'm right? Just using some basic indicators as support below you and indicators above you. But just to make sure, if you say, hey, I'm going to buy something at 100 and sell it at 400, or I'm going to sell it at 90 if I'm wrong. Okay, it's a plan, but is it realistic it's going to go to 400, right? There's that fine balance of having a good risk to reward ratio based upon something that you really might hit that's, to the upside, that's realistic to the upside. All right, so what do we have? We have 5 minutes left. So if there's any changes at all today, anyone, please let me know with any of your positions. Hey, looks like the indexes all went green for the day. That's great. You know, I did not take this trade, but I was looking at it. This is the 39-minute chart. Here we have a higher low V2, day one, or bar one, bar two, bar three closes above bar one. It's higher than this low. Boy, that'd have been a good trade. You'd have taken it at 290.42, and now it has moved nicely. Yep, I don't see anything today. But I'm really going to be watching Johnson & Johnson with that sideways motion for sure in the coming days. Gert says, Greg, you're using 3 targets every day based upon a 0.45 ATR. However, does that not bring a lot of transaction cost? Well, here in the States, Gert, you know, at least who I use as a broker, there are no commissions. So no, there's not a lot of transaction costs for me. You know, if I did have expensive commissions, I would probably have to create a different approach. But being that I don't have commissions, no, there's no transaction cost. Steve Burns says a trading plan just has to create the dynamic of big wins or small losses for the majority of outcomes. Yes, that's 100%. That's 100% right, Steve. That's what Steve taught me. EOG. Yes, it's a V1, but again, no sideways motion, and it is triggering above the 1 ATR channel. I don't like to buy above the 1 ATR channel. I like when I buy here and it goes above the 1 ATR channel, but I don't like to buy above the 1 ATR channel. Glenn says, QQQ long, IWM short, would like to see the reverse to know the coronavirus issue has passed. Oh, right. Mohammed says, Greg, there is a volume condition to take a V1, V2, like suppose only one trade above a previous close. Greg, is there a volume condition? No, there's really not a volume condition for me on V1s or V2s. I do like to see higher volume on the day, on the bar that it triggers, whether it's a V1, but I don't really use volume as a filter. But if I had 2 trades that were exact and one of them had larger volume on the day that you did have the trigger of the V1, V2, I would pick that one over. Boy, look at USO, everybody. Well, this definitely looks like it's closing above the 5 EMA, which has not happened for a long time. And it might even close over the 30. Bing He says, I came to know of a website that tracks the trades done by the super investors. I think it may be another way to create the watch list based upon which stocks they are holding. That's true. That sounds like a good idea for sure. I mean, you could use like the IBD 50, you could use all sorts of stuff. I mean volume above previous day's close. Well, again, you know, if there's higher volume on the way up, then I have no I would pick that one as well. Okay. So where did I buy SPY today? I bought SPY at 283.57. All right. I do like the V1 in the value zone. I wouldn't take it just because of this V1 because we had such a strong move down, and then we did have a V1, but not a lot of volume. But I'm taking the overnight SPY trade anyway, so this makes me feel better about the trade. I mean, a V1 is always better than not a V1. All right. So IWM was positive today. SPY was negative today. But I'm glad to see. I like this 1050 crossover on weakness than just having to buy it on a lot of strength. So, oh, sorry. So we do have earnings today after hours. What do we have? With Skyworks, Chegg, I don't know what that is, Shake Shack, Diamondback Energy, AIG, Avis, XPO Logistics, Five9, Cirrus Logic, and Texas Roadhouse. Tomorrow we have, what do we have in the afternoon? We have Walt Disney Company, Beyond Meat, Pinterest. Who else do we have? On Wednesday, PayPal, Square, Shopify, T-Mobile, Lyft, Etsy, Roku on Thursday, Uber, Stamps, Dropbox. So Walt Disney should be the interesting one tomorrow for sure. And Beyond Meat will be interesting. And then, of course, PayPal and Square will be interesting as well. So listen, if you have any other questions, please just let me know. Happy to clarify anything, go over any other stock symbols. Before I do, just going to put in my quick little plug for the day and let everybody know that I do teach private one-on-one lessons in the evening time via Skype. I really do like to teach. I've had really good success with my clients. I do offer a course. It's 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours, so it's pretty intensive, total of 15 hours. It's $1,000, but I really do think it's worth every penny. I've been trading for 24 years. I've had some really great mentors and teachers in that time, like our friend Stephen Burns, Dr. Alexander Elder, Kerry Lavorne, Larry Williams. I've studied with all 4 of these traders one-on-one. And in the lesson, in the course that I teach you everything that they've taught me, everything that I've developed over the years as well. And, you know, the reason that I structured my lessons this way, the one-on-one, is because I really honestly feel like the best way to learn everything is one-on-one. And that's why I contacted all my teachers and said, look, I want to learn one-on-one. They're like, well, you know, we have courses or books. I'm like, yeah, that's good. But I really feel like the best way to learn is one-on-one. You can ask the person the question right away, right? So that's why I structured it this way. And I just truly, sincerely believe it is the best way to learn something, is having a teacher, just one-on-one, just you and him or you and her, right? And so that's why I have structured the lessons this way. So if you're interested in doing this course with me one-on-one on Skype, let me know. You can contact me. The email is in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter. If I do get a reply from somebody and they're interested in lessons, what I like to do is I like to have a Skype call, and it's totally free. And I promise you, there's no pressure to take the course, but I just think it's a good time to put a face with the name, and also to have them be able to ask me what the course entails. And then that way I can answer that, and then I can also answer or ask you questions about you and your trading, and your challenges and what your goals are, and we can just see if we're a good fit for each other. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. It'd be nice to meet you face to face on Skype with the kind of the introduction call. And again, just so you don't have to worry, there is no pressure, I promise you, whatsoever, right? Just want to make sure we're a good fit. So emails in the description, or you can send me a message on Twitter. And also, if you like today's podcast, if you find it helpful, I really would appreciate if you could just take a half a second and hit the little thumbs up button before you click on out of here. Would help build the channel. A lot of people out there need some help with trading, a lot of people. And hopefully if they come to this channel, I can do that for them. But the likes just help spread the channel more and get more people. So thank you for that, if you could. Steve says, I love IBD Big Cap 20 for stocks as well. Yeah, it's a perfect list. I mean, IBD, Investors Business Daily, they screen their stocks for earnings and growth and the requirements they have to be a CAN SLIM stock. So that's definitely an option as well. Glenn says, Holdings channel shows the largest holding of each hedge fund. Oh, interesting. Holdings channel. Thanks for everything today. You're welcome, Zach. Good stuff. You're welcome. Gert says, thanks for this, Greg. Enjoy the rest of your day. You too, Gert. Appreciate you being here. I really do. And thanks for all the great questions. All right. What's happening after hours? Down a bit, down a bit. Don't see any earnings out. Hey, MA is there. Good to see you, MA. How you doing on your Amazon puts? Are they profitable or not? I was looking at them earlier, and I know they were profitable that next day, and then they went up and then went back down. So Gert says, have to go. Cheers. Cheers to you, Gert. So nice trade for Bing He on Amazon. Wow. I mean, not Amazon, on Netflix. Fantastic. Fantastic. MTA, any change there from anyone? And dang it, VRTX got away from Bing He. Darn it, darn it. That was just a perfect signal. Again, if you want to emblaze what a perfect return to value is, this is it. Above the 1 ATR channel, came back into the value zone, stopped going down here, did go down here, but closed above, right? And then the V2 here. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 2, washed out day 1, day 3, closed above day 1. So return to value, sideways motion, then the trigger. What a great trade. Or a great setup, I should say. All right. Well, listen, last chance for questions. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here, put my hiking stuff on, go for a nice hike. It's a beautiful day here in Utah. And please remember, just like to remind everybody, try to go out and do something nice for somebody today, just a smile or a wave, or, in this current situation, just give them a call at home, just check in on them, let you know you're thinking of them, really might make their day. Zach says, have an awesome hike, Greg. Thanks for everything today. You're welcome, bud. You are welcome. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I guess we'll make it an early day. Mohammed says, thank you. You are welcome, Mohammed. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here today. All right. Well, hope everybody has a good rest of their day. Hope to see everybody tomorrow during the last hour of the trading day. And on the way out, if you can remember, hit the thumbs up button. I would really appreciate that. So, all right. Take care, everyone. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye-bye now. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.